Yeah, come on now.
Hey guys.
It's just a pineapple.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Here at the Swamp, get ready to beat LSU. Y'all tune in to Rule Number 1 podcast on Monday.
Yeah, and we're back. You know, another episode, another week, episode 21. We got a cool one tonight. You know, not a lot of people can call themselves a professional photographer. But ladies and gentlemen, tonight our special guest star is Miss Bethany Respress. I'm sorry, Bethany. And she is the founder of Bethany Respress Photography. How are you doing?
Good. How are you guys?
Okay, I'm good. Can you come a little bit closer to the mic for us? Awesome. But, you know, Bethany is a professional photographer. She has a business that's been doing pretty well. You do what? Weddings and whatnot?
Weddings, portraits, a little bit of everything.
Everything, yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of your work. Very, very good work. You've gone out of the state and stuff too, right? Mm-hmm. All over the place. That's awesome.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate, you know, photographers and stuff like that, because like I'm kind of dabbling in it. I started my own kind of little deal with like wildlife photography, just because that's kind of like what I do for a living, is always in the woods. So whenever I hope to learn something from her, because, you know, man, I feel like photography is just like a whole nother world.
It's an art.
I mean, like, well, it's an art. And I feel like it's a whole other language, because like there's all different like terms and there's all different settings, and like, you know, people don't appreciate like the craft that these photographers do, because there's so much more that goes into taking pictures than really just like clicking the, you know, camera button. Like it blows my mind when I started getting into it, and it's like, well, dang, why can't I make these pictures look like, you know, so-and-so? And it's like, I don't understand. And so I started watching YouTube videos, and I'm like, dude, like I got to learn a whole other language, you know, like how whenever you're in elementary school and they tell you like, oh yeah, like you got to learn Spanish or Latin or Chinese or whatever. Like, man, like this is a whole new deal, and I'm out of school.
Well, I'm pretty, Bethany, you're self-taught, right? On everything.
Yep. I tell everybody that it's YouTube University for me.
Okay.
Yeah. Definitely self-taught. I did reach out to a couple like photographers when I first started, you know, asking questions, and I'm still asking questions all the time when something's going on. But everything else has been Google, YouTube. That's just crazy. Photography blogs, all kinds of stuff like that.
You know, when I was fortunate enough when I was in college, in my communication major, we had to take a digital photography 1 and a digital photography 2. So like those 2 classes kind of taught me the ropes of the settings and stuff, like the aperture settings and everything that go into making, you know, good photos. Not just using your iPhone, but you know, those classes are nice to, you know, give a basics for me. But, you know, for y'all two, learning off rip, that is very tough.
Yeah, dude, it's unreal. Like I joke around like with my job and everything. I say like I'm a certified YouTube mechanic, because like I have to work on a lot of things and I have to YouTube it. But like it's literally unreal, like what you can learn on YouTube.
Yes. Like
all the different channels you can, at a click of a button in this 21st century, we can just Google one thing and all of a sudden pull up a video, and like you can be self-taught in. People go like learn, you know, work years and years on their craft, and honestly, you can learn basically what they learned in, you know, 15-minute YouTube video. Yep. It's unreal.
How long have you been going, Bethany?
We're coming up on 3 years now.
Already?
So basically, yeah, because COVID hit in 2020, and that's how I started, or when I started.
That's awesome. You know,
May of 2020.
I remember, you know, a little bit of your story. You actually went to Florida Gulf Coast, right? Mm-hmm. And you did not do anything related to digital photography or communication. What were you doing?
So if I would have stayed and done what I was doing, I would be a physical therapist right now.
Okay. That's pretty big, you know, difference.
So I did exercise science was my major. They call it exercise physiology, and all kinds of stuff like that. Sports medicine. And I was getting all the prereqs done I needed for the doctorate of physical therapy program.
A doctorate degree? Like a DR? Yeah. You'd have been Dr. Bethany Respress.
Yes. Okay. Yes. But now I'm just Bethany Respress.
No, but you're owner of Bethany Respress.
Exactly, yeah. So COVID hit, plans changed. So that's the year I was graduating. It was 2020. March of 2020 is when COVID hit. I had to move home. Well, I thought about, you know, taking a year off and then going back or whatever. Things just didn't work out. I was like, maybe I should be a nurse. Maybe I should be a teacher. All these kinds of things.
Yeah.
May of 2020, my parents asked me what I wanted for my graduation present, and they bought me a $300 camera.
Nice.
Canon camera.
Okay.
And I just started taking pictures.
That's how it started.
Wildlife pictures. I still do wildlife here and there. More of just like the trees and stuff, not like animals.
Right.
I'm not patient enough to do the animal stuff. But then so that's how it kind of started.
I think it's crazy that you say I'm not patient. I've seen TikToks and videos of like people in like ghillie suits trying to get pictures of fox or like all kinds of, different animals. That's insane. Could you imagine being that committed?
Mine's a little bit different. The way I take pictures is, I take a lot of pictures of cows, and so, that's kind of my job. So I can take pictures of cows. But
you have like a specific demographic, your target audience with your photos.
Yeah, I just bring the food out, and they'll just run right up to it. But before we forget, Bethany, what is your number one rule you live by?
So I would probably say work harder.
Okay.
Just because you're never going to get everything in life handed to you. And if you don't work for it, you're not going to get it or get what you want.
Yeah. Right.
And if you don't work harder, you're not going to get even higher.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to keep going if you're not working hard enough.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah, I feel like this generation, like a big time, which I've hit on this a little bit. This whole generation kind of feels like, and I was just thinking about this on the tractor today. This whole generation like has this idea in their head that they can show up to their 9 to 5 and just have their hand out, and one day they'll be a millionaire. Like I can't tell you how many people I've talked to be like, I'm going to be rich one day, and then I'll be like, oh, okay, like how are you going to do that? And I'm like, oh, I'm going to go to work.
Right.
What do you mean? Like, I know somebody very close to my life that has literally worked, I believe, 50 years in the cattle industry, and he makes $16 an hour. Still.
Yeah. Dang.
It's unreal.
Like
you get the things. These things don't just fall into your lap. And
no.
so, like, I try to encourage people and be like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to be a millionaire one day." Well, like, what steps are you going to take to get there? Because, like, if you talk to any successful businessman or businesswoman, exactly. You started your own business 3 years ago. And so you have to venture out and do something. It doesn't have to be an entrepreneurship, but you have to find a niche and to be able to move forward and make steps to get there. Like it just doesn't happen overnight. And I feel like our whole generation thinks that they'll just be millionaires by 30. Yeah. Like I don't get it.
You have to work hard. You have to have side hustles, and you have to take risk. Bethany, you were an exercise science major, and I'm sure when you told your parents or your family or whoever you were with that day, I'm starting my own photography business, they probably didn't think it was the best idea. Let's face it. Now look at you. You're killing it. Like you're going to Tennessee to take pictures. You're doing all that, and you're working harder. And I love that. It's kind of very simple, very sweet. Just work harder. And, it's a good mindset. And I want to ask you, though, do you ever find yourself going, maybe I don't need to work harder. Maybe I need to take it back a notch and relax a day or two.
Yeah, all the time. All the time. So I have booked last year I booked way too many weddings than what I was capable of doing at the time. Okay. Well, okay. I did them all, but what I thought I was going to be able to do, I booked way more than what I thought I should have done.
Yeah.
Same for 2023. I already have way too many weddings booked than I think I'm going to be able to handle. So I have had to actually block off Saturdays and Sundays and be like, okay, no, you're not doing anything on this day. And I still get people, does this day open? Is this day open? And I'm like, is it open? Let me think about it. I don't know.
It's like, do I make money or do I relax? Yeah. It's tough. Yeah. It's hard to find a balance.
Yeah. We often find the same problem, me and Nate being so busy with our jobs that we do from 9 to 5 and recording. It's like some days we'll be texting each other and be like, are we recording Saturday or are we recording Sunday? We need to check the Google Calendar or just something and it's always it's just that fear of not knowing, I guess. But it's crazy how you have to be so, perfect with your timing to do extracurricular stuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
definitely. Like we have stuff planned out. Like we try to stay like 2 weeks in advance. And so
Yeah.
we try to like, if for instance, something could happen or, Brian and I could be drained. And if we want to take off a week, we can take off a week. But that comes with proper preparation.
Right.
I was telling my cousin the other day, and it's called the 5 Ps. It says,
Okay.
yeah, the 5 Ps. Proper preparation prevents piss poor performance. And so if you live by that, then you're never caught by surprise. And I feel like you're kind of doing that with your whole scheduling. You might be overloading yourself, but if you block off those days, you kind of have time to be like, take a step back and relax.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
work harder, and you've been working hard. Obviously, you already said you're pretty booked up for 2023. How did this start? When did you sit down and say, all right, I want to start Bethany Respress Photography LLC? Like, where did this whole process begin for you?
I don't really know. Like, I don't know how to answer. Not that I don't know how to answer it. I just don't know exactly where it started. So, as soon as I got my camera, I was taking those wildlife pictures, and of the random birds that were in the backyard. And then I just started, like, I had these girls I used to babysit when they were kids. I was like, hey, y'all want to model for me? Like, I have an idea. Like,
Just to try it out,
y'all
yeah.
just find a cute dress that's in your closet and, like, come model. So I started taking pictures of them, and I'm like, I don't hate it. Let's do it again.
Okay.
I didn't hate that either. Let's do it again. Like, let me get a couple. Let me see if I like that. And then that's kind of how I just started doing it like that. And then eventually I was like, people are complimenting me, so I should probably do something about this. They're willing to pay me, so I should probably do something.
Well, have you fallen in love with the art of photography over time doing
Yes,
this?
absolutely. I feel like every session or every wedding, I'm like, this is better than it was last time. I had more fun this time than I did last time. I found something new about it that I love, or and I don't know. I'm excited to see where it takes me.
To see the growth.
Yeah.
And that's so, I can relate there because, with this, we're seeing the growth in everything we do. I mean, heck, our first episode, we started off with no camera, no lighting, no nothing. We had literally this setup just because it was a little cool hangout, this soundboard, and that was it. And we just talked to the microphones that night. But to see where we're at now, it's pretty nice. And I'm sure you've seen a lot of growth. Like, what are some of the moments that that growth has been really significant for you?
I will say this is gonna sound really stupid, but was it last weekend? No, not last weekend. The weekend before, the last wedding I did. Like I said, this is gonna sound so stupid. But, so the bride was from Mexico, and they had a tradition where they made these huge puppets, huge puppets that they walk down the street with.
Like the bride and groom?
Yes.
Okay.
They're like a puppet of the bride and a puppet of the groom. Okay.
You got to post this on your Instagram. By the way.
It's on there, so I'll make sure you guys see it.
I got to check it out.
And then there's a mariachi band that follows them, and everybody walks from the church that they get married in to the reception hall. And they're playing in the mariachi, and everyone's having a good time. Everyone's dancing. The couple's dancing, leading the whole thing. And something about that moment the other day, I was taking the pictures. I just stopped, took a little video, and I was like, this is what I get to do for a living.
Man, look at that. We'll put it on the screen for our guys.
That's very
at
cool.
home. But that is so cool.
Yeah. So, I mean, just that there, I was like, I'm enjoying it. Like, I'm having a lot of fun. And I think that was the biggest part of growth for me, because I was like, with job, everybody hates not that they hate their job, but sometimes it gets tedious and you're not want to do it.
It becomes work.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
That moment, I was like, tears were falling out of my eyes. I'm not a crier at all. Like, I'm a tough cookie. Okay.
Yeah.
And I was crying. I was like, I don't know. Like, I enjoy this so much. And I think that was the biggest, just growth I've seen in the past 3 years for me in that job.
Well, you've truly realized that in the moment of while you're doing it, it's not work anymore.
Right.
It's your passion. It's your, it's what gets you up in the morning. It's what literally puts food on your plate now.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's so nice for you to realize that so young, because now you know what's your career path's going, and you've already, built up a pretty solid clientele, and you're going places. I know on your Instagram bio, you can say the name of it, by the way, if you want, but it says coming soon to Georgia and Tennessee too.
Yeah, so that was actually last year. I actually just
okay.
updated it.
I'm sorry.
No, I just updated it like 2 days ago, so you're fine. But yeah, so last year I went to Georgia for a wedding, and it was actually a girl that I went to school with. So she just went up there and got married, and then did a wedding in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee.
Oh, nice.
Beautiful mountain, perfect sunset. It was just the perfect day. But next year, or this year, 2023, we're actually going to Maryland, to Tillman Island, which is right on the Chesapeake Bay.
Oh, that's cool.
So, yeah, really excited.
So, like, in terms of, like, I know we've mentioned your social media, like, you've grown your clientele so much. How do you market yourself? Do you just basically rely on word of mouth or posting, or, you know, how do you get new clients?
So my biggest for the last year, for 2022, I've just been going over all my reports lately for tax reasons. But my biggest 2 places of like marketing where my clients are coming from is 1, word of mouth, and 2, Instagram.
Nice. Okay.
So with Instagram, I use all the hashtags like Florida photographer, Florida wedding photographer. I never thought those actually worked, but that wedding I was just talking to you about, where the girl was from Mexico, they actually lived in Texas, and they had family in Melbourne, Florida, and they found me through one of the hashtags.
Dang, that's
liked
crazy.
my work, and they were like, let's hire her. And I've had 2 more just from hashtags, specifically from Instagram.
You know, we've had the same luck on some of our clips that we've posted from prior episodes. Like, we've had a hit on the hashtag Indonesia for Aditya's episode for his reel on Facebook. It got up to, like, I think 10 or 11,000 views or something like that about his van car. And that was a big thing. But I have a question about that. Building off of Nate's here, do you see like a transition in the marketing strategy on Instagram? Instagram used to be post square by square picture and hope you get the coolest picture and people are going to like it. Now it's just like, if you don't post a reel, your stuff's not going to get seen or explored.
Yeah, it has definitely switched to reels, which is so annoying because I'm not good at it. I'm not good at TikTok or anything like that. I just watch TikTok, So reels, and then definitely like really weird. I get a lot of hits on my stories.
Okay.
So if I just post a selfie and I'm like, oh, I'm going to this wedding here today, I get so many like hits on it and people are looking at it, and I'm like, 1, that's kind of weird, sketchy. They're looking at my face. But 2, it's just so weird that it's stories and not the reels.
Well, are you using the location tags?
No.
No? That is weird.
Me neither.
That is weird.
Like, I post stuff all the time, like on my story, and I'll get like these random people that see it and like will like my story. And they're real people.
Well,
they're not like bots.
Well, it's public. You have public accounts, right?
Yeah,
Well,
but how
can watch your story at that point?
But like, how are they seeing it?
Yeah, I'm wondering if it's somewhere like on the Explore page or something, and I'm just not seeing it.
I'm thinking that somebody maybe have saw y'all's reels, right?
They're like, these are random people.
Well, yeah,
and it's like every
people
day.
You see random reels all the time on Instagram. They probably see a random reel that comes up on their feed, and they hit your page and they see your story, and they're like, oh.
There was this probably sounds bad, but there was this one photographer from somewhere, some in our country, I don't know, but she was somewhere. There was like 2 weeks where at least once a day she was liking one of my stories, and I'm like, you don't follow me. 2, I don't follow you back. Like, I don't.
Complete stranger.
Yes, I blocked her from seeing my story because I was like, I'm just annoyed. Like, why are you just liking my stuff? I think it's more of like a marketing thing where they go out and they like are trying to find people, get themselves recognized so that person will follow them. Does that make sense?
Like, use them in a sense.
I feel like that's how it's going a lot of times. So that's why I'm just like, stop looking at my story. Like, you're annoying. Like, little mosquito. Like, get out of here.
Well, I feel like nowadays with like TikTok or Reels, like all the algorithms, or even like, for instance, podcasts and stuff like that, I feel like it's so rigged, which I could be very biased because like I am a content creator and like I do TikTok and Reels and like all different kinds of stuff. But it's so frustrating because, for instance, like, people that push their, I don't know if you do that, you pay to push a post.
Yeah, you brand it. You use the like custom brand. No, we don't use that either.
Yeah, no, we don't, because that's one big thing, because I know people that that'll push their stuff and I mean, they're guaranteed like 50,000 views on
Right.
stuff. Like, for instance, like an ad, one of our good buddies over at Vintage Snaps, Trey Edwards,
Yeah.
he pays for a lot of stuff to push to get his ads. Well, he's also making a return on it because people
Right,
click his ad and
yeah.
make money, which makes sense in that. But I know, like, personally, like with my TikTok, like I applied for like the creator fund, so I get paid to make videos, but it's not anything crazy. But I have noticed my views go way down because I get paid per view. And so, like, when I post a video, my views aren't getting pushed because they have to pay me to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, obviously, I could be a lot biased on that just because it'd be like, oh, I think that's a great video and it doesn't get any views.
Yeah,
But I have heard other people say the same thing. It's tough trying to balance it because as a content creator, you want to put stuff out there, you want to get views, you want to get likes, but it's frustrating because it's like, why is this not getting it?
As a content creator as well, like making stuff, I find it harder nowadays to get, people's longer attention spans.
Yeah.
Every reel you see nowadays on TikTok, it's gone from, at the start, like a 30-second dancing video. You used to watch the thing the whole way through.
Mm-hmm.
And then it got down to like 15 seconds, whatever, shorts, like a comedy skit or a podcast, whatever. And now there's like TikToks down to like 5-6 seconds. They're just like loops. And they're getting more views than ever
Right,
because
yeah.
they're so short, but they keep people's attention. And I just think it's hard to, come up with constant content with such short attention spans. And that's why you see your fluctuation in videos and views, I think, personally.
So, Bethany, let me ask you this. Like, with this whole world moving to that kind of short clip deal, are you trying to learn more about Reels and TikToks like you did with photography to begin with and be able to market yourself that way? Or do you think you'll kind of just stick to, the photography side?
So right now, I'm probably just going to stick to the photography because that's where a lot of my clients are. I'm getting inquiries like every day, like just for all kinds of stuff. And that's where my target audience is.
Yeah, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Exactly. So at this point in time, no, I've looked into it a little bit. Like, how can I do like little clips with my camera to put on TikTok or whatever? Mm-hmm. It's just not worth it at this point in time. At this point in time, for me personally, is not worth it. So yeah, maybe one day, but not right now.
Well, yeah, because you talked about you having your schedule slam packed. If, for instance, if you did learn how to do the TikToks or Reels or stuff, and you got more clients, like how do you juggle that? If you're already slam packed now, like you'd have to hire people. Yeah, exactly. Do you see where is that where you plan to go in the future?
Yeah, pretty much. Near future.
Nice.
Yeah. We're crossing our fingers here. But yeah, so hopefully before the summer is over, I'm hoping to at least have one other person on my team that I can train and teach them to do exactly what I do and hope for the best. That I can hire them out to,
right.
Yeah.
to go to a wedding for me in my place so we can book 2 weddings on the same day
And make even more money.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's good to see growth.
Yeah.
Some more.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think your end goal is? Like a whole photography company with a studio and everything, or is it just like this freelance thing that you got going?
I would love to have a studio. After I have my own house, we're gonna work on first things first. But so I'd love to have a studio, but I also think that studio photography is kind of, I don't want to say it's dying out, but more people are wanting outdoorsy, in our area, everyone wants a picture in a pasture with a cow behind them. That's what they want. So that's what I'm trying to give them for the moment. You know what I mean? So we'll see as trends change, but
they always come around.
Yeah. I'd love to have an office though, to just sit in just a
space
office,
to work.
just a space this big, just so I could just breathe and have all my camera equipment organized very well. Right now we're kind of squished into, but one day we'll see.
Well, let me ask you this: what you talked about, not necessarily having that space. What's your day to day look like? Like, do you wake up, you go shoot pictures, or is it most of your time editing, or are you more in the field taking pictures?
More editing and emails and making timelines for weddings, because for weddings you have to have a photography timeline. They have to know when they need to be ready and all that kind of stuff. So that's pretty much my 9 to 5, I would say. And then Saturdays, almost every Saturday or every other Saturday, I'm doing a wedding. Sundays are full of just regular sessions. I have probably 2 to 3 sessions a week, just on a weekday. So, yeah, it's pretty much like
nonstop.
Yeah.
It's keep going,
Yeah.
keep going, keep going. I think that's the struggle of, I don't want to say struggle, but I think that is the main concern that every business owner has.
Right.
You're the boss. You can't escape. This is your company.
Right.
Yeah.
So 24/7, you're going to be thinking about most of the time, how can I make this better? How can I keep it going? How do I keep growing?
Yeah.
And I think that's what every young, entrepreneur finds. That's the hard part.
For sure.
Keep convincing yourself to keep going.
Yeah.
Well, I have a question for you. For somebody kind of like Nathan or, somebody, no, I'm serious, like starting out on the photography end, what is like some of your equipment basis? Like what camera do you have? What would you recommend for somebody to start out? Like a starter pack.
Okay. So what I have now is not what I would recommend for a starter.
Okay.
And the only reason I say that is because all of my stuff is very expensive. And if you're not, you need to know if you want to get into this full time before you jump that far. But definitely look into, do you shoot with Canon or Nikon or?
No, mine's a Luminex, which is made by Panasonic.
Okay.
So that's more like videography stuff.
Yeah, so I don't know a lot about that, but I know with Canon, if you get one of their basic mirrorless cameras, beautiful pictures. Mirrorless is it's the move right now. So that's what everyone's switching over to.
Yeah, that's what my camera is right now.
It is okay. Yeah, like I said, I know about my stuff. That's about it. But just a basic mirrorless setup, and then kind of go from there.
Okay.
Depending on what kind of photography you're wanting to get into, with wildlife, I would just and I'm only saying this because this is what I did, but search what lenses do I need for wildlife photos if I have this brand or whatever, Yeah. So that's the best advice I can give anybody, because that's what I did. That's the only, if you don't use what I'm using, that's the only advice I can give you.
Because
I don't know if that makes sense or not.
No, yeah, we get it.
Because in photography, there's so many different branches. I mean, you're not just squeezing a button, because you've got, you've got action, you got sports photography, you've got wildlife, you've got weddings,
Models.
portraits, all different kinds of stuff, videography.
Yeah.
And so whenever you get into that world, which I'm realizing now, when you're getting into there, it's, like I said, a whole different language. You've got to YouTube everything, because there's certain lenses don't fit on certain cameras, and they're, you can't necessarily cross platforms on some stuff. And it's a lot. It's a lot of research.
It is a lot of learning. I find that some people get intimidated by it. There's people out there that have creative ideas, and they can put it together in their head how they want their video to look. But when they go to a computer or need to use the software, they find it overwhelming. They can't, figure it out. But with the, advances in it, I think it's pretty, self-explanatory. With, TikTok has it now, or you can use it straight on their app. Instagram has the same thing too. And it'll pretty much walk you through all the steps of the video editing. I think, for somebody starting out for videography, like a hand stabilizer.
Yeah.
Nate knows what I'm talking about, for your phone, because nowadays phones, they can record just as good as cameras sometimes. And I would say a tripod, just so you can make sure your shots are still.
Yeah, for sure.
I really want to get one of those. Have you seen the gyro balls where it's like a handheld, and any motion you make, it stays? I want one so bad.
They're so nice. I held one time, because I work with videographers all the time at weddings, and I've held one time, and I was just like, I need this just for fun, just to have it. I'm not doing video, but I just need to have it.
Well, literally, because all the stuff that I do, I'm either moving around, I'm not camping out to take a picture. Maybe in the future, but I'm not right now. And so I figured I could get a cool video on a horse or something, because you're always bumping up and down, and the whole gyro ball will be able to get the whole focus. But if y'all have never seen one of those, look them up. They're super, super cool.
Now, I'm a videographer guy. I do shorts, action boat shots, hunting videos I'm getting into. I haven't released my first one yet, but I'm really excited to. It's a kind of duck hunting clip. It look pretty cool, I hope. But I use, Adobe Premiere Pro to edit all the podcast videos or any side videos I'm doing. Now, I'm curious, as a photographer, what do you use to edit your photos?
I typically just use Adobe Lightroom.
Okay.
They
It's
do
so
have,
simple.
Yes, they do have a Adobe Lightroom Classic as well. Classic is a little bit better because you can get, like when you're changing colors and stuff, you can get more precise, like what you're looking for.
Okay.
But it's a lot harder. For some reason, it's so much harder to just understand. So I'm still using Lightroom. I know it's easy. It gets the job done.
I think that's what most people want when they're editing, something easy, something that they can navigate and learn quickly.
Yeah, for me, like as a beginner, I had a friend that told me about Lightroom, and they were like, yeah, anything you edit, it's very simple. Like if you pay for, I think the subscription for a month is like $4, like for the app. And it will literally take you to a point and says recommended filters for this picture. And it'll come up with, tons of all these filters. And obviously if you want to get more precise, you can, change your focus points and everything like that. But I loved that because it was like, okay, me as a newbie trying to put out good pictures, I can literally scan my picture and all these filters pop up and I can kind of get
recommended.
Yeah, exactly kind of what I want.
And once you find what you want, you can make your own preset and use that for everything. So that's what I do is I have one preset. Well, I have, a couple different presets for different things, but one main preset, and I use that on all my pictures, and then I just go in and edit. Like if the photo was taken dark, I lighten it up and then that kind of thing. But
now, are you using the paid subscription version of Lightroom?
I have, yes, but I have what they call Creative Cloud. So
I
get like the Lightroom Classic, Photoshop.
All of them.
I think I get Premiere Pro.
Yeah.
And there's like another one that I don't know what it is, but I have it. It's in the subscription.
So if you don't know what we're talking about at home, the Adobe Premiere Cloud is, editing software for everything you can think of. Soundtracks, podcast, video, audio, whatever, Lightroom, video, all kinds of stuff. It's really cool. And you can get it all for, I think it's like offering now like $120 a year.
Yeah.
And then if you have a college email, it's like $45 a year.
Fun fact, I still try to keep my college email so I can get
man. So
I still use my ID card every once in a while. When we go back down to Fort Myers, like I'm like, oh, I'm a student. They're like, is that really old? I'm like, yeah, I can't find my new one. Sorry.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
But that's so funny. That you say that because I forgot what I was going to say.
No, it's okay. Well, speaking of FGCU, we can roll back into it like that because I wanted to hit those points with the FGCU.
We'll cut back into this right here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Speaking of FGCU, we kind of skipped this part. Normally we do this part at the beginning, but I wanted to ask, whenever you got there and you were doing all the, it was physical therapy, correct? Or exercise science. What was the life down there? Because I know you travel all the time with photography. Do you ever want to go back to Fort Myers and take pictures?
Absolutely. I go back every once in a while because I still have clients. I have clients that are down there. And if we ever find something fun to do, we'll just go down there and hang out for the weekend or whatever. But it's definitely a college that is based around the wildlife. Like they are very good about conserving the wildlife around them. And it was actually the land was donated by Ben Hill Griffin. So like it was kind of like if you don't conserve this, like we're gonna take the money back from you. Or I don't know exactly how it works. But so much wildlife. And I love just being down there. It's so pretty down there. It's growing a lot, but it's still very pretty.
Yeah, I bet since the hurricane, have you been down there since the hurricane?
Yeah.
What was the devastation like down there?
So we weren't able to go. I still haven't really been able to go to like Fort Myers Beach or anything, which was where it was really bad, or Sanibel or Pine Island or anything. But just driving, we went the weekend afterwards. And because we were already planning on going down there, and we just were like, we're still going to go. We're going to take donations, that kind of thing. Just in downtown, like you could tell, like you could see where the water, because it flooded all through downtown. So you could see where the water was. You could see just so many like places, like trees were everywhere, which trees were everywhere here too. But like just, it was very sad.
Well, they got the blunt of the impact.
Yeah.
They got the first punch.
Yeah. So I can only imagine like what it actually looked like on the beach.
The day after or something. That's crazy.
Yeah, I never went down there after the hurricane. But it was kind of, we've asked this question several times because, that was a big event in the state of Florida.
Yes.
And we have people, I don't think we've had anybody from out of state originally. I mean, we've had people living in other states. But I mean, everybody that we've had on are Floridians. So we like to kind of ask that question and get that perspective because, you know, they're all over the state of Florida too.
Yeah. You know, what are some of the spots in Fort Myers to hit out? I was going to ask you that earlier too, but I forgot.
So my favorite spot down there, even still to this day, we go every single time we go down there, is Fort Myers Brewing Company.
Never been.
It's a brewery down there. Amazing. Always food trucks, always fun stuff.
You're a fan of breweries, aren't you?
Yes. It was also like 2 blocks from my apartment, so it was very convenient to be able to walk home, you know. But there, and then there's another brewery called Crazy Dingo Brewery. Very cool name. They're actually, it's like a farmer's market, but there's a brewery at the farmer's market. Okay. So when you go, there's like a little petting zoo. There's little goats and it's cows. It's a brewery cool experience. Yeah.
A white girl's dream.
Cool. Yes. There's all kinds of plants. It's great. It's a great time.
Oh my gosh, I couldn't imagine having like drunk girls trying to pet a goat or something.
Have you ever seen those pictures of which you might have, the girls that do like yoga with goats?
The goats? Yeah.
Yeah, like I feel like you would go there and take pictures of girls doing yoga with goats.
What the hell is the benefit?
Yeah, what is that?
Anyway,
I don't know. I think it's just the happiness that comes from a goat. I don't know.
You
They're
have
cute.
goats now.
We do have goats. We just had a baby Liam. He's so cute.
Yeah.
But the goats, if I like squat down or bend down, we have mini goats and they will straight up just jump on my back. So like I don't
just doing yoga.
I just think it's funny. I don't know.
Oh,
Saturday morning, catch Bethany doing goat yoga.
That's
awesome. So if you could recommend any spot in Fort Myers, you know, I know there's a couple hot spots. Like I always liked going down to Bunchy Beach. I don't know if you're familiar with it. It's local hot spots. If you could recommend that to anybody, where would you recommend?
So I was I like the quiet stuff a little bit. So I would go to like Lover's Key Beach or like Bonita Beach, which
Bonita Springs, right?
Yeah, Bonita Springs. There's a lot of old people down there, but it's a lot quieter and it's not the party place. But if you're looking to party, well, Fort Myers Beach was the place to go. I'm not sure now. I'm not, like I said, I haven't been, but that was the spot.
Yeah. I remember when I was down there at school, that was the spot for spring break. We would go play our doubleheader on our Tuesday and go to Lani Kai. Yeah, Lani Kai. We go to Lani Kai on Wednesday and then have to be back at the field Thursday morning at like 7, dragging ass.
Feeling rough.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like this is a perfect time to kind of like get into our snap questions, and we learned a little bit more about you with FGCU. Well, Bethany, if you could have 3 people out to dinner, dead or alive, where would you go and who would they be?
Who would they be? First one would definitely be like Steve Irwin, I guess.
Oh, that's cool.
I love that.
That's a first. That's a first.
Yeah. So, I mean, for obvious reasons. I mean, we grew up watching him. We all love wildlife.
Yes, we do.
You know?
Screw that dang stingray.
Yeah.
That crushed so many people's hearts. I can't tell you. I cried when I heard that. It was terrible. I mean, because you turn on Animal Planet, especially our generation.
So that's one of those things where like people, which we were too young. Well, I think we were too kind of young to remember, remember 9/11.
Yeah, well,
so we were too young to remember 9/11. But you know how people are always like, this is not in any way the same at all. Just want to put that out there. But people remember where they were. We remember where we were when we heard Steve Irwin died. You know what I mean? So
I was in the mall. I was in the mall.
I was at school. I'm pretty sure I was at school.
I was at
home. I was in the mall with my dad, and he got a little thing on his phone. He was like, "Oh no, Steve Irwin."
Yeah.
I was like, "What?"
That was so sad.
Have you seen his sons doing like something similar?
He does wildlife.
They look
photography.
exactly the same.
Oh yeah.
His son does wildlife photography.
That's cool.
And so he's amazing. So you should probably look into that.
Yeah. See what he's using.
Yeah.
And then his daughter, I think, married some random guy from Florida.
Yeah, I did see that.
She's got great taste.
Yeah. Florida boys.
Yeah.
Florida boys. I feel like the natural like Florida man like relates so much to like an Australian. Like I feel like they correlate so well.
In a sense, same kind of. I mean, not the same exact landscape, but the same kind of dangers.
Yeah. Scary animals and stuff.
So we got Steve Irwin.
And then I'd probably say like Osceola, The
Chief?
Seminole chief. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That is definitely cool.
Because, I just kind of ask him, like, what do you think about Florida? Like, right now. Like, what do you think it's...
He wouldn't have any words to say.
Like, I don't know. Like...
Have you ever read the book A Land Remembered?
Yes.
So
Yes.
I've read it before, and I'm listening to the audiobook. And side little clip, I'm trying to build my reading repertoire. I'm not a good. I can read fine, but I don't like to read that much.
Yeah.
And so I've been buying audiobooks. And so what I want to do is listen to audiobooks, and I'm listening to Land Remembered and write little notes in the book, and then put it up in the bookshelf. Never even touch the book, just buy the book so it's on the bookshelf. But that was a little snippet. But about the Land Remembered, it talks about, like, in the first little bit, where, like, this old guy who's seen old Florida and it's seen it all develop, and it actually, like, is all ruined, and he's all grumpy. And that that was a complete, like, rabbit hole, but it reminded me exactly
rabbit hole that I would have went down to.
Yeah, it reminds me exactly of Osceola. But
That's cool. That's the first two. You've had two first. You're 2 for 2.
yeah,
Who's
those
your
are
third?
very cool.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotta make it a good one, right?
Yeah.
Honestly, I would say Jimmy Fallon. Only
Okay.
because his laugh is really funny. And I think
That's
it.
it?
Would
That's
make
the
me
only
laugh.
reason?
Yeah. Literally. I just think he has a good laugh, and I think it would make me happy just listening to him.
That dinner would be very, very diverse.
Very diverse.
Very diverse. But, you learn a lot about nature.
Yeah, I'm trying to, like, comprehend, like, sitting down at a table with Osceola, Steve Irwin, and Ricky Fallon. Or
Jimmy Fallon.
Jimmy Fallon, not Ricky Fallon.
I feel like he would just be laughing the whole time, and then Steve Irwin and Osceola would actually be talking about
land.
things.
Yeah, talking about land and stuff.
That's
a cool 3, though.
That
unique.
would be
That's our most unique 3.
Oh, good.
I'll give you that. All right. Our next question. You're a small business owner, and this could help you out. If me and Nate were to give you $100,000, what would you do with it, and why?
First, I would upgrade some of my gear.
Okay.
Second, I would pay off the very little debt that I have right now.
Okay.
And then the rest of it, I would probably invest in something. Not sure what. I don't know if I would try to start a new business or just throw it in some stock somewhere. I have no idea. I would consult with a professional on that one.
There you go.
Yeah, I feel
smart.
like that is very smart. I actually, like, I've been thinking about several investments and stuff like that. There's a thing called a CD, which don't ask me what CD stands for, but it's basically an account. And it has, like, aggressive, like, interests that grow, like, that has a very high interest rate. And so once you put your money in there, it'll grow the interest rate, but at the same time, your money's, like, locked in for a certain amount of time, so you can't touch for, like, a year or 5 years or whatever. And so I feel like that'd be a cool thing if you were looking into that.
That would be good. That would be a good way to start, little and earn quick.
Yeah.
With your own money.
So we've got a new question. I don't think we've ever asked this question before.
I don't think so either.
So I thought about it earlier, and Bethany, would you rather be eternally happy with only making $30,000 a year, or be extremely depressed until you pass away with $1 billion?
So... This is
kind of
very hard question because, like I said,
Yeah.
I work hard, and I don't want to work harder and not only make $30,000 a year. But
Yeah.
This is happiness.
I'm going to say I'm going to go with being happy
Yeah.
because I just feel like that's the right answer. And I also would get Matt to get a job and, like, be the principal somewhere. Like, he would have to level up a little bit.
Looking out for your man.
Yeah.
Matt's
So we
her,
could do a good team, be a good team right there.
Matt's her boyfriend, for those of y'all that
That's
don't know.
such a good answer. Like, oh, that's so nice.
Yeah,
So
no, I
nice.
definitely have to do the 30,000 and be happy. Like,
Yeah. I mean,
to be in like such a lull, but, like, you have all the money in the world, but, like, even if you're seeing the prettiest thing in the world, you're still extremely depressed.
but how depressed can you be beyond being a billionaire?
But that's the
See,
thing.
that's the
You
moral
have
There's
to be
so many
depressed.
ways you could answer that question.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
That
It's
is true.
It's hard to.
But you're thinking about it from a state of mind where of somebody that's not extremely depressed. And so you could have all the...
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like,
Correct.
you have all the money in the world and be like, oh, I could do this and this, and that would make you happy, but it wouldn't because you're extremely depressed.
Then I would definitely have to go with the happiness for $30,000 a year. I could start shuffling money around and start saving up in different ways.
Right.
Am I allowed to have a side job of my $30,000 a
Nope.
year?
That's it. That's it.
Oh, that's hard.
That doesn't mean you can't invest it.
That
You
is
just
true.
only make 30,000.
You just got you got to be
So,
smart.
If
Move
you can,
diligently.
if you can turn 30,000 into like millions in retirement, that would be the way to do
Well,
it.
there's TV shows nowadays with former CEOs starting off with literally no money and working their way up to millions. It's crazy.
Yeah, small loan of $1 million. Donald
Yeah.
Trump.
Yeah, true. Oh man, we have a nice, finalized question for you. I think it's a good fit again because you're a small business owner. Where do you see yourself in 15 years?
I don't know.
That's totally okay.
Honestly,
by the way,
like I honestly have no idea because I want to say I see myself still doing photography, doing weddings and stuff, but I also, what if at that point I've already made my $100 million and
Yeah.
I'm going to be traveling somewhere,
Yeah, okay.
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I guess the goal is to make the billion and not have to be extremely depressed.
Exactly.
I think if I worked my way up to $1 billion, like I wouldn't be depressed. I'd be
Right.
like pretty happy of what I've built.
Oh yeah, of course. If you could work your way up there, not like
Just be depressed. Here's $1 billion, but you got to be depressed.
Yeah, that's just hard. That's
Yeah,
hard.
it's hard.
It's hard
Such a
to
tough
comprehend.
question.
It's hard to comprehend.
that might be another question we need to start asking people because it's such a thought provoking
Yeah.
question.
It's definitely a good question.
Yeah, it is, and it's a good rabbit hole spark too.
Oh yeah.
But Bethany, thank you so much for coming on tonight. We know you're a very busy woman. You take pictures all over the States. Do you want to shout out your socials for all of our people listening?
Sure. My Instagram is b.rayphoto.
Okay.
Facebook, you can just type in Bethany Respress Photography and it should come up. And I think that's all I have.
You can check out that cool reel that she put together, those puppets
Yes.
at that wedding.
Yes.
I thought that was pretty cool. I didn't know. It's a reel, by the way, not a photo. It's a reel.
But if you would DM me and you're like, hey, can you send me the photo? I'll send it to you.
Now, if people wanted to schedule you, where would they go?
Yeah. So you can either go to my Instagram or my Facebook and go to the link that has my website and just go there to the contact page. And that's how I do all my bookings. Try to stay away from phone numbers and stuff. So I have a personal life a little bit. But, email is kind of the best way to reach me. And all that should be in the link on the website. So
Awesome.
Yeah, so if y'all want to like what y'all saw on this episode,
Yes.
if y'all want to follow us on social media, we are
Absolutely.
Rule the One Podcast. We're on YouTube,
All of
Instagram. Yeah, just
All
name
of
them.
them.
We got them.
Yeah. Speaking of which, keep hitting that following and subscribe button on the Spotify and YouTube. It really does help us out, boost us in the algorithm. And, we'll have Bethany's page on there too. So go check her out.
And this Friday night, we're having a coop night.
Yes,
so y'all
we are.
come out and support us.
Absolutely. Come check it out. Well, I think we're doing a beer pong tournament.
Yeah.
We're going to try to at least.
We'll see if we can't get the college environment out
Yeah. Well, guys, thank you so much, Bethany.
there. Yes.
thank you guys.
And we'll see y'all next week.
Peace.